Here we are.
We're online. Unbelievable.
Hello.
I think we should probably introduce ourselves.
Yeah,
What's your name?
Oh God, I interrupted you there. I'm Abby.
And I'm Freddie. This is a shambles already. We quit.
Should we start again?
Let's start. No, I'm Freddie. I'm living up in Newcastle at the moment, but I live in Newmarket normally, and I study politics and sociology at Newcastle University.
Yeah, and I'm Abby. I am from the Isle of Man, and I'm currently on the Isle of Man. But I go to uni in Newcastle, which just like Fred, and I study English language and linguistics. We're both in our final year.
Both. Yeah.
Both done and dusted, really.
That's it. Can we go now?
Yeah. So Fred and I usually do a weekly podcast, don't we?
We do, yeah.
With Newcastle Student Radio, but for obvious reasons, we are not in Newcastle Student Radio studio at the moment because I've been sent home. Fred's still in Newcastle, I believe.
I am, yeah.
And we are in our self-isolation, so we're in lockdown.
Yeah, so we thought we were racking our brains and thinking, how do we adapt it and try and salvage something out of it? So we're going to do it online. So we're talking via Skype now.
We are.
That Skype video will be uploaded to YouTube where you can watch it. But it's it's kind of weird because we usually do music, don't we? Clips and things like that, and we can't quite do that now.
Yeah, we've had to change it up quite significantly, but I kind of like it because the thing I like about doing radio is that it's like live, so you can't edit it, and if you make a mistake, you make a mistake, and that's it. And I kind of like that. I don't know why, but I couldn't be a vlogger. I couldn't have to sit down and edit everything. I'd just be like, you know what, I messed up. Just take it. Do you know what I mean? So these people that sit down and edit videos and like their vlogs, like fairs, but I just don't have the time for that, or don't have the energy.
Time.
Yeah, I just feel like just one shot, it's out there. Do it.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of what this is. I mean, you can't really edit I wouldn't really know how to edit a Skype video, so this is as close as we can get to it.
So, would this be a vlogcast instead of a podcast? Is it
what? It's not audio, is it? What is? I'm gonna say vlogcast. Maybe we're creating a new field here.
Yeah, maybe we're creating a new word. Maybe
vlogcast. Have you just come up with that there?
Yeah. Just here.
Are you coining that?
Yeah, I'm coining it. I've coined a new word.
I like that.
I'll make note of that.
All right. Well, I've seen a couple of people do this type of thing and then put it on YouTube, but we could do our own. I don't know. We can make it our own.
The first ever vlogcast. Wait, yeah, vlogcast. Is that what it would be? I don't know. Yeah. We'll find out.
Video blog. That'd be. Anyway, so if I was an alien right now, and I was coming down from whatever planet they live on, I wanted to know a bit about the show that we do on a Friday afternoon.
Okay, yeah, I was a bit confused with where you were going there. I'm not going to lie. If I was an alien...
That alien analogy, that's classic. Have you not heard that before?
I have, but I just didn't think you were going to pull that one out.
Classic. So... everyone loves that one. That's a good one for, like, teachers love that.
Yeah.
When they get their students to answer, Anyway, so if I was an alien and I wanted to know a bit more about the show that we do on a Friday, what can you tell me, Abby?
So we do, on our Friday podcast, we usually cover, it's called What's the Story? And we usually cover one of the big news stories of the week. So 1 week we did the financial fair play, is that what it's called? The FP, what was it called?
FFP. You did it, you should know.
Yeah, I forgot what it was called. I forgot what the actual title was.
Financial fair play.
With the football. And another week we looked at the locust swarms that were in Pakistan and the ducks that were being used to sort of tackle that issue. We sort of focused on an issue of the week and would sort of put our own spin on it. So it was sort of a current affairs sort of podcast, but with more of a lighthearted spin on it.
Yeah. And I think that's what we're going to try and replicate in the following week. It's going to be hard, though, isn't it? Obviously, the main story, there is only one story at the moment, but we thought we could maybe feature the stories that are kind of missing in the headlines that haven't been given. Because I think everyone's hearing about, coronavirus. We should almost have a beeper every time that word is used.
Oh, literally.
Brexit. Now Brexit was used 20. Well, of course it's used a lot, and I think people probably would welcome a slightly different.
Yeah, I actually think today is the day that I've heard the word the least, because I've not watched any news. I've intentionally shut myself out from it. I've seen a news notification, so on my BBC News app, the notification came up, but I've not sat and watched the news at all today. I think this is the first day of the week that I've not sat down and watched the news because it's just making me miserable. So,
do you think there's anyone out there who literally lives under a rock and doesn't know what's going on right now?
I don't know, well, there'll be tribes somewhere in the Amazon rainforest that
I mean the UK. Of course there's someone out there. Yeah, I'm sure there's someone that doesn't know. Do you think there's anyone in the UK right now who has no idea what is going on? There must be.
I don't know, though, because surely they would know, because they'd be going, if they went into the shops and people were saying sun 2 meters apart.
What's going on? Where is everyone?
Yeah, but I don't know. But I did hear of a few weeks ago now, I'd say maybe 3 weeks ago, where before they'd shut the borders to the UK, and before Italy had gone into a full-scale lockdown. So it was quite a while ago now, but it was when it was all big news. And a friend of mine, her nana's friend, had just got back from a holiday in Italy, and she'd returned and gone to this little old lady's dance class, and all her friends were like, "You've been to Italy, are you okay?" And she was like, "What? Yeah, why
It's a good holiday.
She was clueless. She didn't have a clue. So apparently the Public Health England had to sort of track down all of the people she'd been in contact with, because obviously she just didn't realize that she was at risk because she'd been to Italy. So she was
going around just kissing everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, but apparently she isolated for 2 weeks and she was fine. So, but yeah, so
to hear it.
Yeah, but yeah, so life's a bit strange at the moment, or more than a bit, quite very, very strange, I'd say. Especially for me, actually, because you're in Newcastle, so I suppose it doesn't feel as. Does it feel strange? How does it feel for you? How is it for you?
I mean, it does. Well, yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it does feel different. I mean, the town that we live in, or the area we live in, is usually packed out with students. So wherever you walk, you bump into there'll be loads of people kicking about. Whereas now it has obviously emptied out a lot, but I have to say it's helped me personally, because I think I still feel I'm in that environment. I still feel quite attached. Although I'm not going to university, it doesn't feel completely a million miles away. Whereas I think if I was at home at the moment, which would be interesting to hear how you're dealing with that, I think it would be more difficult. And especially for my work, I mean, it doesn't, because I'm doing the same kind of things. I wake up in the same places I'd wake up when I would go to university.
Yeah.
I think having that routine has been a bit easier to kind of get back into. But yeah, how are you finding? So you're living in the Isle of Man at the moment.
Yeah.
So the kind of issues that are coming out.
Yeah. So for me, when so I had to go into isolation sort of before I came home because one of my housemates was unwell. So we were in a week. I think we'd been in isolation for about nearly 2 weeks, and then had to come home. So I was already in sort of a lockdown at home in Newcastle, and I really struggled with that in the sense of I enjoyed it. I loved being with all my housemates. It was fun, but sort of achieving things wise, I was useless. I got nothing done. Was just doing absolutely no work, because in my room at uni, it's my desk's tiny. I don't have a proper workspace. The house was really loud. People were running about the house because everybody was in at the same time. There was 8 of us in the house. So At uni, I really struggled, and I thought when I got home, I would really, really struggle. But I came back. First couple of days, first day or two, I had to like settle in. I was really miserable, like just really like overwhelmed by everything. But then my dad ended up moving a desk into my bedroom. I've never had a desk in my room before. My sister's got a desk in her room, but I've never had one. So I used to do work in our like study whenever I was at home. But that's in quite like a awkward part of the house. Like it's quite loud because my bedroom's in the attic, whereas the study's on the middle floor. So people will be like coming in and out, or you could just hear like noise in the house. So this desk got put in my bedroom, and I thought, I'm not going to get any work done in my room. Like I'll be sat in my room. I'll just associate my bedroom with sleeping. But I've actually been really good, I think, for me. Because when I get up, I do not get back into bed. Once I'm up, I do not sit on my bed at all. Like that is it. I don't get into bed until I'm resting in the evening.
See, that is definitely important, because I've been in a position before where because it's so tempting, isn't it? So tempting just to like curl up, put the laptop there, start working, and you think, oh, this is pointless. This is pointless.
Sometimes, some mornings I wake up, have a coffee, sit in bed, read a bit of my book whilst I'm reading a book at the moment, and I'll have like finish my coffee and then get out of bed and like make my bed, and then just don't sit on my bed for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But I've been really good, but I also think it's quite helpful for me because I'm not very good at working in the mornings. I sort of like to get my day, like I kind of like to gradually get into work. So I'll sort of do some work, have my tea, like my dinner, my tea, and then we'll do more work afterwards. Whereas if I was at uni, I wouldn't do that. I'd go home, eat, and then just chill.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hit and miss, really.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's bizarre, very bizarre situation to be in. But I feel like I've settled. I feel like I've settled into it now. Way more now, because it's what, week 2 or 3 now. I can't remember.
No, at least I think it's week 3 or going into week 3 maybe. But I mean, I'm not sure about you, but I found the kind of mid-March period where everything was really up in the air, when people were starting to go home. And so we personally at university were having emails saying, you know, lectures are now moving online. But it was gradual, wasn't it? So lectures would move online, but the library stayed open. So you were kind of caught into areas, because I was thinking, okay, great, I can still go to the library. I'll do all my lectures from there. But there was that kind of, and I think a lot of people have found this, that kind of feeling that actually we're only going one way, and it was going to get to where we are right now. But it's just, when was that going to happen? And I think as soon as it happened, having just a bit more certainty, like if this is what life's going to be like for the next 2-3 months, then okay, it's ideal, but at least it's, you know, consistent every day. Whereas the period in between where you kind of what's the next couple of months going to look like was quite difficult, and I think a lot of people found that.
Yeah, I was definitely in that sort of headspace, because for me as well, for not just me, for you and I, and for like all of our friends in our year at uni, like we're in our 3rd year. So for me it was like, that was the end. I mean, I'm doing a 4th year, but not many of my friends are. So for me it was like, I didn't want to leave prematurely before I sort of had to, because I didn't want to sort of leave all that behind and just like say my goodbyes too early and sort of never see, well, not never, but you know, not see each other for a long period of time. But at the same time, for me, I had it in the back of my head that I live on an island. I don't live in England. So for me, it was like, if I get stuck, I'm stuck. Like, I'm genuinely stuck. And I luckily got home 3 days before they shut the borders completely to the Isle of Man. So like, the Isle of Man now don't let any residents in. Don't, like, if you're a resident and you're stuck in the UK, you're stuck in the UK. That's it. So
but I guess also it being such a closed and like such a small area and so densely populated, you know, coronavirus in the Isle of Man could spread like wildfire. So I'm not
definitely, and it sort of has. Yeah, it sort of has, to be honest.
Like, how many cases have we got now? What is it?
I think we had our first case like 10 days ago.
Yeah.
but we've got over 100 now and 1 death and
Right.
5 in hospital.
Yeah, yeah.
Or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know the exact statistics, but it's quite severe. Well, not severe, but obviously we've had a death quite early on. I think the first case was not that long ago at all. But I mean, it's the way it's going, and it's sadly probably won't be the last death either. But we did go into our lockdown quite soon after the first case, so
right.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how things pan out.
I don't know about you though. It's weird. I found that it's really been like the small mundane things which have actually been quite enjoyable over the past couple of weeks. It's been weird. I mean,
yeah,
you kind of, I don't know. It's like it's like scaling. So the things maybe like in normal life that you'd find enjoyable, like going out, maybe going for a drink or going for, I don't know, meeting up and socializing. You kind of have to scale down. So now, for example, I find like if I have a nice meal or I watch something on TV or I read something that's actually really, really like interesting or something, I'm thinking, oh, that's actually, I'm getting like a greater sense of enjoyment out of it. Do you know what I mean?
You appreciate the little things a lot more, definitely, I think. And I think that's what this is really good for, that it's given people a little bit of like clarity and a bit of headspace to sort of reevaluate their lives. I think in the world that we're in at the moment, a lot of people have got all these things and are still wanting more, and it's like a very selfish world that we live in. And in reality, you sit back and you get told you can't go out, you can't leave your house, you can't do this, you can't do that, and you do sort of start to appreciate, especially for us, like we're lucky enough that we've got like a roof over our heads and we're like in very good situations, like I'm with my family, and you're in Newcastle with Tash and whatever, so we're in the best situation we could really be in. So it's just like a bit of perspective in a way, and things are just, you appreciate the little things a lot more.
That's true. Have you taken up, everyone seems to have taken up something new. What have you done? Have you taken up anything?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing a lot more exercise.
Like, headstand? Can you stand on your head?
Is that what you said? Oh, I thought you said headstand. Yeah. It's like headstand, thumbs up. We're going to play that. But I will tell you this. I've been going online and teaching myself Manx, like the Gaelic language of the Isle of Man.
Right. So, can you any for show right now?
Yes. I do have some for show actually, Fred. Are you ready for this?
Well then. Well, that's a good little. That was quite a good little setup.
Thanks. Tammy Gary Liet Gilg as Bavilian Cleactorit.
And what does that mean?
It means I would like to learn Manx and I want to practice with you.
Yeah. Very good. Can you say it again?
Tammy Gary Liet Gilg as Bavilian Cleactorit.
Sounds quite right. It just sounds stupid, but it's how close in resemblance is it to say like a Welsh language?
There's a Gaelic language.
Any crossovers? Okay.
The Gaelic languages are like obviously the older languages of the British Isles. So I think the Gaelic languages came way before English.
Right.
This is my degree coming into play here. I had to sit an exam on this, so I should probably know. But yeah, so obviously Manx was around for thousands of years before English ever came about. So I think there are some crossovers, but not massively. But I've been watching this series on BBC, which came out a few years ago, but I've just been watching it now. I didn't watch it in real time. And it's called Hidden, I think. And it's based in Wales. It's like a crime like drama series. But that's in Wales, and a lot of that's in Welsh. And obviously they have the subtitles. But that was what sort of got me thinking, they're all talking Welsh. Why not I just learn a bit of Manx and just see if I can do it? Yeah, so that's all I know.
Nice. But, if you walked out right now into the street, okay, theoretically, and you said that out loud, okay, all your neighbours would have to be outside as well.
Yeah.
How many do you think could respond with a Manx response? Do you know what I mean?
Probably not.
What I want to know is it a common language? Do a lot of people on the outside know that?
It's like a dead language. It's like it's quite a dead language. So like it's dying out. But there's these loads of like revitalization strategies like sort of like an island. So Irish Gaelic was dying out within the last 100 years, and they sort of had this huge campaign to rebuild it and reintroduce it. So, I mean, it's definitely not a relevant language. It won't get me anywhere in life, but it's quite a nice little bit of heritage to hang on to. So,
yeah,
why not?
Lovely. Yeah, no, I think why not? You've got the time.
And also, though, learning any language, whether it's relevant or not, whether it's like you're going to use it in your daily life, is just really good for the brain. So, yeah, training that brain.
Keep it together. I've got something to show you, actually.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I've got to go. I was like, all right.
yeah. Actually, what's the time? See ya. That's the thing. I could literally cut you off at any point, couldn't I?
Yeah, you could.
Imagine. I was doing this. My girlfriend Tash works for My Clubs, which is a company in Austria, sports fitness company, and they're doing these live workouts now. So they stream through YouTube, and you can do like Pilates, you can do all of them, like boxercise, intense like body pump, all of them. So we put it up there. But the weird thing is, it's like you're doing it and it's so intense, but you can literally, if you want to, just press X at any point and you don't have to do it anymore. Which is kind of a bit of a weird feeling, because you wouldn't just, if you're doing a normal workout, if you're at the gym, you can't just get up and just go, right, see you later, and just walk out. I mean, people would be like,
literally.
But it's kind of weird. You're like, oh, come on. You're so tempted just to be like, oh.
Yeah, it is tempting, but you just got to persevere, I suppose.
Got to push on. Anyway, let me show you this. So Tash got me this today. This is for my birthday, which was last week. Right. This is mad. Right, okay, I'm going to ask you, and like, comment, subscribe. So comment below. But what do you think this is, okay? What is it? You can have one guess. What do you think it is?
Well, what do you mean, what do I think it is? It's a person, isn't it?
The face of it looks like a man with an afro crossing his arms, okay? But what do you think it is? It's a functional kind of,
a helmet.
I'll give you a cue. It's a functional item that you shave hair with, trim hair with.
Oh, it's a razor.
No.
I don't know, Fred. You've really thrown me off there.
Basically, this guy's head comes off, or is it afro? His hair comes off, okay? Oh! And lo and behold, it's a nose trimmer. So...
Oh, wow.
That's what that is. So his head is now cut, and I can literally, if I press, I mean, it's not got any batteries in yet, but you do your ears, all of it, just with that.
That's very handy, because I remember when we were on holiday, and do you remember us walking into the bathroom and Tash was there pulling your nose hair out and you were just streaming with tears?
I don't know if anyone's experienced it, because it is horrendous. It's someone is literally pulling your skin. It's so close to pulling all your skin out at once.
Yeah, you've just got to do it in one quick jab, I think, and then
it's so sensitive, it makes your eyes water. So it looked like I was crying. I was pretty much crying, but it makes it look.
I wasn't crying. I'll
say that.
Wow, at least you've got that now. That's a good little present, actually.
But we've begun and texting people and seeing.
Yeah, we have.
Anything new, and we've got some replies. So we've also been asking people what the best and worst part of isolation is. And some good replies here. So we'll read some of these out. So we've got one text in here from Finley, and he said, the worst part of isolation is there's still roofers working on my next door neighbour's house, throwing roof tiles into the skip at 9 a.m. in the morning. He says that is not essential.
Yeah, that's not essential.
That is not essential. But he said the best part is all the cooking and baking we can do and the booze you're allowed to have with it. So that's been quite a common response. I think the cooking, the food, and the drink has.
Yeah, the food and alcohol is definitely one of the highlights, I'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah, my parents don't cook though, so I have to do it all myself. No, my parents aren't the best. So
what are you cooking?
cooking wise.
What's been your go-to meal?
You know what? I think I've had a different meal every night since I've been home. I made, do you know what I made the other night that I actually really enjoyed that I'd never made before? Pizza, but oh, you're right, a little cough there.
Yeah, no, I'd like to. By the way, I'd like to just remind everyone that is a normal cough. That is not, that is not. I think I might have already had it as well. I don't know, but we won't know until we test.
Exactly.
Anyway, separate point.
Yeah, so I made pizza, but you use wraps, like tortilla wraps, as the base. So instead of buying pizza base, it's like a sort of like a healthier version of a pizza. And I made that the other day. Okay. It was really, really good.
What do you put on it? What are you doing? So like cheese?
I had like margarita sauce, like from a pot. Like use that as the base, obviously. Bit of onion, bit of garlic, bit of chicken, and a bit of chorizo, and loads of cheese. It was lovely.
That's quite impressive.
Yeah.
Have you got better at cooking then, do you think, from this whole experience?
No, I think I got better. Yeah, I don't know. I think I just got good at cooking when I went to uni because I couldn't cook really before, and then just used to eat the same thing every day, and then went to uni and just learned to cook. Had nothing else to do, so
lovely.
Yeah.
I'll read a couple more of these out. We've got one here from Max. And he says, the worst thing is I can't meet my baby brother who's just been born. Which is really sad.
That is really sad.
And yes, obviously everyone's in isolation. So that is really sad. But the best thing is, the upside is, he said, again, food and drink and money. He said he's saving a lot of money by being not like everyone, going out and spending lots. And
I think that.
So that's bit on your money if you got money coming in, and that's definitely an upside.
Yeah, it is definitely an upside to it, but I think as well I've lost a lot of money because of this. Like, I think you're saving money in some senses because you're not going out, you're not drinking, you're not eating out, you're not really buying anything other than essentials. But I mean, a lot of people have sort of had holidays cancelled or trips away cancelled or concerts, events, like all sorts of things cancelled, some of which, I mean, a lot of things like hopefully you can eventually get your money back from, but for the time being, a lot of people are struggling to get refunds at the moment because all these companies are in the same position where they can't refund everybody at the same time, they can't process it all. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, that one, I think.
Yeah. To be fair, I mean, I have to be honest. My personal experience has been like the companies and especially travel, they've all been quite good and they've been quite responsive. But the huge scale and
can't relate.
Side, I mean, a lot of sites obviously crashing, and they are dealing with a lot of demand. But
I mean,
if I'm helpful, but that's not the case with everyone, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's a bit hit and miss, really. I'm waiting for a refund from EasyJet for my flights for skiing, and I don't think I'm going to get it. They're only offering.
They're doing, aren't they?
Pardon?
Is it the vouchers they're offering instead?
Yeah, they're offering vouchers, but they're only valid until August, I think, or something, or 6 months. And it's like, well, when can I travel in 6 months' time? So it's just a little bit silly. But I mean, I'm playing that by ear. I've applied for a refund. I'll see if I get one. If not, it's vouchers, and I'll just have to hope that I can spend them. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely. And also, I'm not drinking anywhere near as much because we'd go to the pub pretty much every other day. So, and I'd be drinking pints, whereas at home I do still drink, but not to the excess that I would at uni. So I think
I've seen I don't know who started the campaign, but someone I saw on Twitter, they were advocating, and they called it dry COVID. So they were being like, let's just go completely dry, completely no alcohol during this period, and they got some awful response because most people are like, well, alcohol's getting me through this.
Yeah,
I'm not going to go dry now, but I mean, I don't know. It's maybe not the worst idea.
Licenses open as like essential, which is bizarre.
Well, yeah, but I have to say, having an off license, and we've found it personally, has been really helpful because I guess the more off license, although they do sell alcohol and cigarettes and things like that, they do sell, you know, food. They do sell, you know, coffee and the whole things that you'd usually get in supermarkets. And with everyone going to Tesco's, Waitrose, you know, the other supermarkets, having these off licenses actually does help, and it kind of means
I suppose,
we're going to all sorts of places
also,
rather
in my experience of off licenses, I've been to off licenses or have had in where I live, in the sort of shopping little streets near mine, so like the little mini high streets, there are or have been off licenses that are exclusively off licenses, so they only sell alcohol, and those types of off licenses,
they're like liquor stores.
like liquor stores, like they're still open, and it's like, yeah, I understand that you need shops and stuff, but alcohol, don't get me wrong, I don't want them to shut these off licenses, but they should definitely not be classed as essential, because think of all the health issues, the health problems, and then you know. So
well, Boots complaining. I don't know if you saw yesterday, but Boots, their staff were complaining because they're now starting to sell non-essential items again. So they're saying things like fake tan. My opinion, but during times of war, I don't think, you know, you need.
I agree though.
They were saying, you know, why are we selling these? Obviously, we get the big key items, paracetamol, ibuprofen, all the stuff they sell. But why are they selling non-essential items still? And having, you know, people going to the shops, putting staff at risk. There's a valid point there, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing, that then there's still these non-essential, these people who are claiming that these companies or these sort of firms saying that their workers are essential, and they're not. Like, these people, they don't need to be going into work every day, you know, but they are. So
well, the grey line, I think a lot of people are finding as well.
Yeah. So what's been the highlight of your week in isolation then? Because it's Friday today, isn't it? So what's been the highlight?
That's a good question.
Silence.
Yeah. No, I would say I'm going to go back to food. I know it sounds trivial, but I would say my evening meals this week have been unbelievable. I haven't been cooking.
I was about to say, isn't a little task probably doing that for you?
It was a kind of cauliflower vegetarian curry. It was unbelievable.
Ooh.
And homemade chapatis. No,
is she there shouting at you there?
Just by looking over there, it just came into my brain. I don't know how that happened. But that was that was probably one of the highlights of my week. I went for a nice walk on Tuesday. That was quite good.
Did you?
I went down to like the local park, but I have to say, and I don't know if other people find this. Obviously, the guideline is to stay 2 meters away from someone else. But it's so the parks and a lot of the kind of public footpaths are so busy now.
Yeah.
That's hard to, because people are going for their one exercise a day, and but it's so hard because you're going, especially when you've got quite a thin public footpath. You're going, like, how do you space it? And there are parts.
I found that issue as well.
So I don't think it's as easy as just going out and being able to keep distance. There are issues there.
Yeah, I find that though, when I'm running, if I run or walk on a pavement, I have to sort of, if there's somebody coming towards me, I have to go onto the road and then run, like, sort of, I have to be conscious. You have to be very spatially aware.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just going for a walk, and by default, everyone's 2 meters away from each other.
Well,
but that's been a highlight of my week. I think, yeah, I would. What about you?
Well, I was going to say, do you want to see the highlight of my week?
See the highlight of your week? Yeah, go on, then.
This.
I didn't get it.
Wardrobe. I got a new wardrobe.
I still don't get it.
I got a new wardrobe. That's the highlight of my week.
Oh, wow. What brand is it? Can you get branded wardrobes? Is it like a certain type of...
It's not new. I'm not gonna lie, it's not new. It's a hand-me-down. It was in my mum's bedroom. My mum's had a whole room done up. Actually looks sick. But so she was getting rid of her old wardrobes, and I was like, I'll have it because it's big. It's like a triple wardrobe instead of just a normal size one. So here she is.
You want to take us inside?
No, that's not. It's not very organised.
No.
I mean, it's not very full at the moment.
Could be
But
like
also,
nine.
I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna paint it when I've got time because all the furniture in my room's grey. So that's gonna be a little project for me, a little isolation project. Who are you waving at? Are you waving at Tash?
That's going to for our essential shop.
Oh, very good.
Essential item.
Yeah, but so that's the highlight of my week was getting that wardrobe fitted.
No, to be fair, it looks like
it's big. It's nice and big, and yeah, feels quite glamorous because the wardrobe I've got at the moment is
things. Well, the big thing in that case, that's massive, but all things.
Yeah.
So we've got a question that's come in from Katie. Thank you, Katie. So she's having her birthday during lockdown, I think in the next couple of weeks. And she says, how do I make the most out of my isolation celebration? So I had my birthday. All about this. Well, I had my birthday. It would have been to 24th of March. So it was a week and a bit ago. And it is a bit weird. I mean, you sort of like, because I knew it was coming as well, and so will Katie because we've been in this. But it is weird because you have to completely kind of reevaluate. But my best advice would be to Katie would be sort of treat it like Christmas Day. So on Christmas Day you're not going out.
Yeah.
You're in your house.
That's good advice.
You kind of just do the same things you do on Christmas Day, and if you're with other people, then great, even better. Family round or friends round. If not, I said modern technology now. Get on Zoom. All the other, make sure your passwords are legit and not silly, otherwise you get hacked. But go on Zoom. You can do big. I mean, loads of people are doing these Zoom parties, aren't they? So if you're friends for it, get loads of people on there, and basically just make the most of the things you can still do. So like have some really nice food, maybe have a nice breakfast or a nice dinner, maybe get a takeaway if you fancy, or I don't know, get like lots of drinks in. You can still make a celebration out of it.
You can still definitely make the best of a bad situation. My sister's birthday was last week and we was really chilled, got a takeaway, just had like a nice evening, didn't do an awful lot, but it was nice. Like she still had a nice enough day, and I do think it's just as you said, like Zoom and all of this stuff. But your advice to treat it like Christmas Day is actually really good advice.
Treat it like Christmas Day. Christmas Day, you don't go and do crazy things, do you? You do things but you do things in the home that are like homely and quite nice to do. So I think that's the best advice I can give there.
That is. And
actually, take your exercise. Maybe I didn't go for a run. I just did like you can go for a nice walk. I'm not going and doing 5K on my birthday. But go for a nice walk. If the sun's nice or the weather's nice, which it should be, I think the next week, do that. And I still think you can get a day out of it.
Yeah, no, that's good advice actually. Treat it like Christmas. I really like that. It's good. Good little.
Treat Christmas Day. Then you might get through this quicker. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. But I think you've come up with a little challenge, shall we say?
Well, so I mean, everyone's in it now.
Yeah, you've not come up with it, but you've suggested.
Yeah. You're genius. So what are you talking about? The toilet roll challenge, aren't we? So we're going to try and replicate it. I'm going to need to get the laptop. Bear with me on this one. I'm going to try and get the laptop up to a stable position.
Yeah, I need to do the same though.
First one to get to 5 is the winner.
Just so you know, I did a practice run of this and I am shocking.
I'm awful at this actually. It's hard, but everyone in the video I've usually seen like professional footballers who obviously are quite good, but it's quite hard, isn't it? I think I've done 3 so far, so we'll see how this goes. Okay.
I'm going to do a little practice whilst you set up shop.
All right, I'll set up. See, this is an advantage. We can't do this on student radio, can we?
Exactly.
Very dynamic. Okay. There you go.
I'm not doing a very good job, I won't lie to you.
Can you see my foot?
Oh no, you can't see my feet. Yeah, I can see your feet.
Have you seen? I've sort of done the LinkedIn thing. You know the LinkedIn thing where you dress from the top upwards smart, and then you just gone for some David Beckham Academy shorts on the bottom.
Yeah. Business in the front, party in the back.
Yeah, right. Let me get one of these.
My feet. I can't get you.
I think you need to try and put it down.
Where? How?
You might need to put it higher up.
Okay.
There you go. Right. So we're going to try and do 5 of these. First one's 5 wins. Okay. I won't be able to see you, but as in I won't be able to see when you got to 5. But let's go. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I only got it, damn it!
No. I didn't even get one.
I've not done that before. I genuinely haven't done that before. That's amazing. Just 5 in there.
I didn't get one.
Right. Up to you now. Pressure's on.
I can't do it. Oh, I give up. I give up.
First time.
I give up, Fred. I can't do it.
Give up. I'm not gonna lie. I genuinely, I think I've done 3 before that, and somehow, there we go.
I practiced it before. I can't do it.
I think these shorts have inspired me. I'm gonna try one more time. So I think that's been a fluke. Hang on. 3 there. 3.
Still better than me. I
feel like the trick is you've got to do it. I feel like the trick is to hit on the seam here.
Yeah.
Go on these bits. These bits are way too unstable. You've got to go through the seam like this.
I mean, I've tried every trick in the book and I haven't been able to do it, but I think I'm just a bit dyspraxic.
Right. I'm going to go out high. That was as good as I think it's going to get.
Well done. I sort of already knew you won. You won before we even played it. To be honest, I knew you'd win. But it's all right. I'm not bitter.
We'll do it week. Maybe we could improve each week. So next week, I'm going to aim to do 10. You aim to do 5, and then see what we get.
But I can't see that working. I can't see that happening. But we'll see. We shall see. Yeah.
Where do you want to go next?
Well, I think it'd be quite nice to hear a few little uplifting sort of stories. Do you think?
I reckon we should do it, I reckon we should do it. You play a song? We can play a song, can we?
Pardon? We could play a song?
Just put a song down in the description. Maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you meant like we could just sit and play a song like play it ourselves. I was like, all right, a little performance here.
No, I have got a nice story actually.
Have you?
And it comes from it's story actually I saw on the BBC, and it's featuring Sean Cosgrove, who's 24, and she is living in Leeds with her partner. And she'd been admiring this cat. This cat had basically been the neighbour's cat had basically been going up and down the street and sitting. They lived say opposite, and had been perching on the window of their neighbour's house. I've been admiring it for a while. Look at my sort of. I can't really get invested in this story. Actually, it's quite nice. But they've been admiring it for a while. This black and white cat, but they'd never known what the name of the cat was. So they come up with this false name. They come up with the name. They just called it Eric because they thought I don't know, it's majestic Eric. I don't know where they got that from, but they called it Eric. But after being in lockdown, they're sort of seeing this cat far more. So seeing it on a daily basis, and they're sort of thinking, we see this cat so much, like, we need to know the name of this cat. So what they did is they thought outside the box, and they wrote on a big sign, what is the name of your black and white cat? And they put the sign to the window, just thinking, it'll be a bit of fun. I don't think they were actually, she said there they weren't really expecting a response. But as soon as they put the sign to the window, their neighbour comes out and replies with a big sign that says Walter. So they've got the name. They then start to talk. They then start to, have some other dialogue, like by these signs. But the crazy thing here is that she said before that interaction, they'd never spoken to these neighbours. And it's ironic. I don't know if you found this, but even though we're kind of like locked in the homes, or there's less chance for actual social interaction. Yeah. Ironically, people are reaching out to people in all sorts of ways who they never used to reach out to, and it's an unexpected, it's an ironic, but almost a kind of, it's quite an uplifting. Yeah, it's very heartwarming. Thing. Yeah. Yeah.
That's really
so
sweet.
I like that story, and I think it says a lot about community. So that was a nice story. Have you got? What did you get? You found a good one, actually. I like this.
So I found some stuff on social media. I'd actually seen it. I didn't even have to go looking for this. I just seen it on my feed. And they're two separate stories. They're two separate things, but they're very closely related. So essentially, zoos around the world, sort of wildlife parks, zoos, all of these sort of animal places, I've been giving their animals a lot more freedom to sort of roam around because obviously there's no visitors, there's nobody going into these zoos and these parks anymore. So the animals have been sort of roaming around, roaming free. And I saw one story on social media from Oregon Zoo, I think, in the US, where
Yeah.
one of the elephants, so big, huge elephant, had been taken around the zoo to meet all of the other animals. And there's pictures of this on social media, and it's so sweet. And there's one image of him stood in the sort of aquarium-y bit through the glass, and you can see a sea lion, and the elephant stood there with his trunk out against the glass, sort of touching the sea lion through the glass, well, not through the glass, but against the glass where the sea lion is, and they're just like making friends, and it's really dead sweet. And then a similar story.
That's really nice.
Yeah, that's really cute. It was a really cute picture as well. And then a similar story in Chicago, in a local aquarium, penguins have been roaming around free. So there's footage of this all over the internet. Like penguins just roaming around this aquarium, and there's a clip, a video I've seen somewhere of a penguin stood in front of similar thing with the glass screen and the animal in the water, a beluga whale and penguins on the either side of the glass. But the beluga whale and the penguin are from complete opposite ends of the earth, so they would never, ever, ever meet each other in the wild. So there they are, being brought together just between a piece of
That's
glass.
brilliant.
It's like Love Is
That's
Blind, really, isn't
brilliant.
it? Yeah.
That is brilliant.
Yeah.
That
really
is amazing.
Cute.
Yeah, I like that. And they basically have the place themselves now, so they can do whatever, roam around.
Exactly. But yeah,
I think animals. Nice. I think animals in general have done quite well out of this crisis.
Yeah, I do.
Dogs. I mean, a lot of people are taking their dogs for walks. They've done very well out of this crisis,
well,
and
dogs are just needy as well, so they're having their humans around all the time. They'll be loving that.
Yeah.
But apart from I'm supposed to be getting a puppy. I was supposed to get him this week, and we can't get him anytime soon because we're stuck on the Isle of Man. But
So what was happening with the puppy? Were you getting it from elsewhere?
So he's in the UK, and obviously we can't travel to the UK because there's this lockdown in place. You're not allowed to re-enter. So if we left, we wouldn't be allowed back. So I don't know what we're going to do.
What's happening with the pup? The pup's been born, there, has it? And it's still.
Yeah, look, we FaceTimed him yesterday. If you can see.
You're just gonna have to delay when you. Oh my lord! So that's the one you're guessing at. Oh my lord!
Yeah, so we FaceTimed him yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's ready to come home. But we just don't know what we're going to do yet with him because obviously we don't know how long this is going to go on for. So we'll see. Staying hopeful.
It'd be like massive, but it'd be like 10 years old. Like,
literally.
Our puppy's 10. What?
He'll be fully grown, but there are bigger issues in the world right now. But obviously, it would be really nice to be able to get him.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's looking quite nice weather now. I don't know what you're doing after this. I don't know what to do with myself.
Oh, I might to do.
I might do an exercise.
Exercise?
Something. I don't know. Maybe a run.
I did my exercise this morning, Fred. I get my fitness in before my day starts. Really, I get up, do my exercise, and then do some work.
And start work. Wow. So what time are you doing? You must be doing it quite early then. You're doing it 8 o'clock, 8:30. You must be doing it. How early are you doing it? What sort of?
Well, I wake up. I usually wake up about 9:30. I'd say 9:30. Then do straight away. Go do some exercise, and then start work at like 11:30, 10, 10:30, 11. Just depends really. I'm quite late.
That works well. I found sitting on because obviously sitting down all day, especially at home, and then going out and doing a run, say at 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's really weird because usually in your day you'd at least go walk. You'd walk to and from places, wouldn't you? You wouldn't just go out and sit down all day. So it's weird then going and doing exercise. It feels always so much harder. My legs feel so heavy, like so much more heavy.
Yeah.
Because you go from static doing nothing to then being like, right, let's get this going, and your body's sort of like.
Yeah, but I think it's really important though to keep moving, because obviously you don't realize how much you do walk about during the day, even just walking to the metro or walking to the shop or whatever, or walking to your mate's house, walking to the pub, like anywhere you go, you are still getting steps in. And when you're at home just sat in your house, you don't get that many steps in. I mean, I get quite a few steps in because I live
you put in for the Fred, I think was my
Fred, you probably don't get an awful lot of steps in the house, whereas I live on the top floor of my house, so I do get a fair few steps going up those stairs. But other than that, if I don't consciously
going up them, you're just doing a bit of, as you go up, you sort of get it going.
rapid, yeah. But yeah, so that's really,
well, I enjoyed this.
Yeah, same. So it's nice to keep a routine, because we do our show every Friday, don't we? And we haven't done it for the last couple of weeks because obviously we've both been readjusting to this current situation. But it's nice, isn't it, to sort of get back into it, have a chit chat, talk about the week, and then maybe next week we'll have some sort of stories that we can sit and have a proper chat about.
Where we go next week, I'll be we'll have to have a look. See, as I said, it'd be quite nice to do a kind of the stories that aren't out there, the stories that haven't been getting the coverage, put them on here and have a talk about them, see where we get.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's do that.
So,
yeah.
I'll see you on the other side. I'll see you next week.
This is the only time we talk as well, isn't it? We only talk during this period, and then that's it. I will actually see you next week.
Yeah. So, see you next week.
Yeah. You know that thing on FaceTime? You know the thing that's really awkward when you sort of call someone who's not as familiar with FaceTime, and you have that awkward like,
bye.
I feel it. Are we gonna have that, or what's our protocol? Should we just be brutal and just be the off button?
Yeah,
or
I think it's it straight off. Otherwise, it's going to be that thing where you go to say bye and then you walk the same way, and we're both here. So, are we ready, Fred?
Right.
Ready to say our goodbyes?
Time it, okay?
3.
I'm gonna do brutal. I'm calling it. See ya.